Good afternoon and welcome everybody to the candidate forum for the Glenview Community Consolidated District 34 School Board. This candidate forum is being sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Glenview-Glencoe. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We never support or oppose candidates or political parties. We are also a political organization in that we take action on governmental issues for which positions have been adopted through extensive member study and agreement. The League encourages informed and active participation in government. We work to increase understanding of major public policy issues, and we seek to influence public policy through education and advocacy. The League believes that an informed electorate is the most supportive way of establishing democracy. And as Thomas Jefferson once said, an educated citizenry is a vital requisite for our survival as a free people. Let me introduce the candidates. Alex Kamilewicz, Julie Moon, Scott Nelson, Jennifer Patel, who is unable to join us, and Vasilios Soupos. These 5 candidates are running for 4 positions. Some key election dates before we begin. Early voting starts Monday, March 20th. It runs through April 3rd, the last day of early voting. And election day is on Tuesday, April 4th. Between mail-in balloting and early voting, which includes weekends, there is plenty of time for you to cast a vote, even though spring break is coming up. We will briefly go over some of the key ground rules. This says names were drawn, but we have determined that we will that opening statements will be delivered in the order of alphabetically by first name. Candidates will deliver a 2-minute opening statement. Questions have been selected by the League and the moderator from those that were submitted by voters in the district. The moderator may ask a follow-up question at her discretion. Candidates will be allowed up to 90 seconds to respond to each question. Candidates will respond to questions in alternating order, and the moderator will determine what that order is, or will prompt you with that order. Candidates will be given up to 90 seconds for closing statements, and they will be delivered in reverse order from the opening statements. Statements and responses, will be delivered, will be timed and prompted with visible cues on the screen. Let me introduce our forum moderator, Lynette Foss. Lynette is a member of the League of Women Voters of Lake Forest, Lake Bluff area. She is the Director of Communications for this league and is also a Deputy Registrar. Lynette also is a biology instructor at Lake Forest College. She is an experienced moderator with several candidate forums under her belt. With that, we will begin the forum. Lynette, you may begin.
Thank you very much. And welcome, candidates. It's very important that you participate in the government, and as active citizens running for office, we applaud your decision. That said, I would like to give each of you a chance to deliver a 2-minute opening statement. In alphabetical order, we will start with Alex Kamilewicz. Candidate Kamilewicz.
Thank you. I am Alex Kamilewicz. I have been a citizen of Glenview since 2004. I have 2 sons who are going through the district or have gone through the district, one in 6th grade and one who's a freshman at GBS who is a former student of the district. I am proud to run for the District 34 Board of Education for the same reason that I've been proud to volunteer for the district for years, which is I believe very strongly that investment in K-8 education is one of the best things a society can do to really give a great foundation for kids as they go on to high school and college and on through their life. And it really pays dividends to society as a whole. Plus, it's also just fun to be involved and see how kids learn and grow. And I really want to be there to help support that. My volunteering activities have included for the past several years work on the Citizens Finance Advisory Committee. I've been on the board of the Glenview Education Foundation, and I was also on the committee that supported the capital referendum that passed in 2020. That's my opening statement. Thanks.
Thank you. Candidate Moon, you're next, please.
Hi there, thank you. My name is Julie Moon, and I have lived in the community for the past 12 years. I have a son who has also been through the district. He's an 8th grader now, so he started back in 1st grade, and so we've been through all of the schools at this point. I have been volunteering with the district for since he started, first with the PTA. I, like Alex, also on the Glenview Education Foundation, and it's really, I just really want to be able to continue to give back to the community, support the community. I believe the schools are excellent. I've had a lot of interactions with my work on the Glenview Education Foundation and with both administrators and teachers, and just want to be able to continue supporting them as well as the community as a whole. And I also have been involved in the referendum committee as well. So important to also keep our schools in cutting edge, big enough for all the students, as well as just updating the schools. So I was involved in that. And I'm just really looking forward to continuing to support the community and the schools. And that's my opening statement.
Thank you. Candidate Scott Nelson, you're next.
Hi, my name is Scott Nelson. I have 3 children that have gone through District 34 and 225. They are all out of the districts now, so it's nice that I'm able to spend some time giving back to the district that supported them so well. I'm interested in serving on the District 34 school board because I believe in giving back to the community and find that public education of our children is imperative for preparing students for a satisfying and productive life. During my time in Glenview of 15 years, I've been very involved in supporting the public schools. Through my volunteer activities on the Glenview Education Foundation, I knew I could do more. The last 3 years as a Glenview District 34 school board member has increased my knowledge and passion to continue the work we have started. I applaud these other candidates that are here today in the honest and feedback that they're giving to the community, and I'm happy to hopefully serve with them on the next 4 years of the school board. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, candidate Vasilios Soupos, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynette. Hello, everybody. My name is Vasilios Soupos. I'm excited and honored to be invited to this forum. It means a lot to be able to talk to you. I've been a Glenview resident for the last 6 years. I have 2 children, young children that are just starting into the district, both in Westbrook, a kindergartner and a 2nd grader. I'm personally invested to make sure that they, as well as every other child in the district, has the best possible experience and get the most resources and tools for their future success in life. The reason why I'm running, other than wanting to make sure that my kids and all other kids do well, is I grew up in Greece and I came here right after high school. Over there, being the product of the public education system there, I lacked a lot of the resources and a lot of the tools and foundations that people need to succeed. Ever since I moved here to the United States, I have been given a lot of opportunity, and I'm grateful for that. It's my time to give back. I'm new to this. I haven't run for any other office before. I want to come in with a fresh perspective and hopefully lend my expertise and knowledge and my own experience to make District 34 the best it can possibly be. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now begin the questions. I'll start with candidate Moon. The pandemic brought with it unprecedented stresses and challenges for school districts. What is your assessment of how District 34 handled those challenges? And what would you have done differently?
Thank you. I feel like the district worked with the information that they had at the time. They really took into account the safety of the students and the educators and then families back home. They took into account the science, what the CDC and the Illinois School Board Association was also saying. Obviously keeping kids in school is the most important for optimal learning, but I think I think they took into account what was known at the time, and so I think they did the best for the students at that time. I think they transitioned well and still were able to give an education with Zoom and getting the kids into the classroom when they could safely. And I think at the time they did the best that they could do with the knowledge that they had. So I don't really know that I would necessarily do anything differently. I think they did well and yeah, so I think that's it.
Thank you. Candidate Nelson, your response, please.
As a current board member, I feel we did the best we could with the information we had at the time decisions were being made. It felt like we were trying to change a flat tire on a car while it was driving down the expressway at full speed. I know the board and administration learned many things during the pandemic. We will always try to do what's best for all stakeholders. We tried to be open and honest with our decisions and still offer the best education to the students in the safest manner possible. We have so many more tools in our toolbox than we did at the beginning of the pandemic. And I am possibly sure that we know how to handle this in a more complete way as we go forward. I applaud the community for their involvement and their actions during the pandemic. And I'm happy to be moving forward out of it as we try and improve our students' outcomes as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Soupos.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to echo the same sentiment as the other two candidates. The district did the best that they could under the knowledge that they had at the time. The CDC had guidelines, and the safest thing to do is to follow that. My background is a safety engineer, so I always err on the side of safety. Is hindsight 2020? Absolutely not. But at that time, everything was done per the recommendations, per the guidelines. And that's something, just like you don't question your doctor when he prescribes a particular medicine, you don't question people who are trained and professionals who say you should do this based on the best knowledge that we have right now. So in short, I think the district did the best that they could.
Thank you. And finally, same question, candidate Kamilewicz.
When the pandemic started, I had a third grader and a sixth grader in the district, and I think I'll start by saying their teachers really went above and beyond and trying to make the whole thing work, and I think everyone would agree with that who had kids in the district at the time. I really applaud everyone in the district who tried to make it work under very difficult circumstances. I've said it elsewhere. I feel that with the benefit of hindsight, the district was always going to be in a lose-lose perspective because, as Candidate Nelson said, you just had the information you had at the time you had it. And I work for a large multinational company with lots of resources, and during the pandemic, during 2020, in fact, they attempted a number of things, including bringing everybody back into the office twice. Both times got turned around because we had a community surge in infections. So even an organization with that level of resources, it's also a science organization who understood the science, had trouble getting it right. So I think the district did the best it could with a lot of difficulty, and I applaud them for that. If there's one thing I'd do different the next time this happens is maybe could be a little bit more direct and coordinated in some of the communication on some of the actions. And I think that's a great learning to take from this experience to hopefully won't happen in the future, but the next kind of incident like this.
Thank you. The next question will be first directed to candidate Nelson. What do you see as the top needs of the district, and how would you address them?
The district has a current somewhat of a structural operating deficit. That is because in 2002 or 2001, when a TIA school building was built, the referendum to actually staff the building was not approved. So we've been operating for the last 23 years or so with the amount of money we had for 7 buildings, but keeping 8 buildings open. And that's starting to show up in our budgets as we move forward. So that's something we have to address as a board. We also have to continue and finish the work that was passed by the referendum 3 years ago yesterday. Congratulations to the whole district for making the investment to add full-day kindergarten and improve the learning spaces for all of the classrooms in District 34. And also, we need to also address the current mental health issues that students are struggling with, and not just students, but staff, teachers, parents, and the whole community. We need to remember that schools are the center of our community, and we need to support the schools to help the community grow out of this pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Soupos.
So yeah, 2 of the points I wanted to make is like Scott said, we want to make sure that we continue operating the district and not basically run out of money in the next few years. There have been inflationary pressures that nobody could have predicted, but we have to make sure that the decisions that are made from this point on reflect that there is an economic downturn, and make sure that we are responsible, financially fiscal and responsible, to make sure that we have enough funds to cover all of our expenses. The second piece of that is, again, a lot of the kids and also the teachers and adults, we are coming out of this pandemic, and as such, we have to relearn how it is to be together in a big room without fear of one another. I would like to see additional training to be given, for example, to the teachers to make sure that they can spot maybe any mental issues that some of the students have, so they can be addressed quickly and efficiently, to make sure that we get back to where we were at a pre-pandemic levels, both academically and emotionally. So thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Kamilewicz.
I'll certainly echo what both the previous candidates have said. I certainly have a bias, having been on the Finance Advisory Committee, with regard to our financial health. The fact of the matter is that for pretty much its whole life, District 34 has been managed very prudently from a financial standpoint, and we need to continue that. But we also need to look at all sides of the balance sheet as we go forward to make sure that health is really well established. I think the other thing that I'll add is, and it's really sort of occurred to me also because of my own work situation, is I think we need to help the entire district, administration, teachers, everyone involved, find what the new normal is post-pandemic, and really try to land that and establish it, so that, as candidate Soupos was saying, we can kind of get back to the core functions of why we're all here, which is to educate the children and give them a great boost going forward. So those are my thoughts.
Candidate Moon.
Thank you. This one's a hard one to go last, because of course I'm going to echo all of the things that the other 3 gentlemen just stated. Obviously financial is going to be top of the list, keeping taxpayers' money, securing, or, taking care of their money as well. So I'm going to just move on from the financial piece. That's an obvious one, but I think, mental health is definitely something that I think about with the district, with COVID. And I think that, we just have to continue working on having some normalcy and supporting the teachers and the students as well. I think the district does do a great job with, different programming, but I think it just needs to continue. Also, school safety, I think, is, kind of an issue just unfortunately across the nation. And I think that's another thing that just needs to continue to be addressed. And then definitely the referendum. making sure that we're able to complete those projects, making sure that there's equity across all schools, that they all get the optimal learning spaces. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. This next question will first be directed at candidate Soupos. What do you see as the role school board members, as opposed to teachers, administrators, and parents, in ensuring that the district effectively serves its students and the larger community?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you, Lynette. So the way that I see it is the board has to be representative of what the majority of the community, especially in regards to schools, onto what the vision is, how they want the curriculum to look like, what are the core values that the students have to be exposed to. So the board itself has to set the direction. The administration, on the other hand, is more tasked to carry that out. So I guess in a different way to put it is, we say what we want, and then we have to allow the teachers and the administration to decide how to do it. The board doesn't get involved in the weeds of it, but the board has to transfer over that responsibility over to the administration, allow them to do their jobs. They are the trained educators. So they're going to figure out the tooling, the teaching methods, the tools, the books that are aligned with the vision that the board provides. And the board, again, is representative of the community. So that's, I guess, the ecosystem of those three groups. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Kamilewicz.
I agree with a lot of that. I think it's a couple of things from my perspective. First of all, the board has a responsibility to be an active listener for all stakeholders, be it the community, the administration, the teachers, and also the children, and combine that all into, a general perception of where things should be going and providing that viewpoint over time in pursuit of the second thing, which is really the oversight of the administration and especially the superintendent and the senior staff. So I certainly agree. I don't know a lot about curriculum, so I'm not going to show up saying curriculum should be X, Y, or Z, but when we're going to have discussions about curriculum, it's my responsibility as a board member to be able to have, represent the views of all those stakeholders and find the right way to provide the right oversight to make that really work.
Thank you. Candidate Moon.
You know what? Would you mind actually just repeating the question? Because I think I just want to make sure that I'm answering it properly.
This is regarding the school board members' role as opposed to teachers, administrators, and parents in ensuring that the district effectively serves its students and the larger community.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I was going to answer 100% properly. So, I mean, I think definitely a big part of it is just the school board needs to be in touch with all the different constituents. Oh my gosh, I can't say the word, but I think that, definitely talking with people in the community, talking with the teachers, the administrators, the kids in the schools. I mean, that just to kind of get a better understanding, because we are definitely, like Alex said, not the experts on curriculum and educating our children. But we need to have a really clear understanding of the needs of the community and the schools. So I think, so that's definitely an initial part of it. And then, I mean, basically we're kind of just setting some of the overlying policy, but then it's up to the administrators and the teachers to put that policy into place and set up the procedures for that. Definitely overseeing the administration is part of the role as well, specifically the superintendent. And so I think that I see that as our biggest role. And I also think, just working as a team together, making the decisions and coming up with one voice together on decisions. So thank you.
Thank you. And finally, candidate Nelson on this question.
The Board of Education has a duty to hire a superintendent and determine policy, budget, and leadership. The Board of Education also must establish direction, goals, and priorities of the school district. The board has the responsibility to make the most effective, efficient use of school resources, and they have to do this as a group through discussion and consensus at open school board meetings. A member of the Board of Education must work as a member of a team with an open mind and the ability to engage in respectful discussion to arrive at group consensus, a willingness to spend the time required to become informed and do the homework needed to take part in effective school board meetings, and a desire to serve children in the community with a strong belief in the values of public schools and educational success. And that's where I fall on it.
Thank you. This next question will be first directed to candidate Kamilewicz. How do you plan to address the shortage of support staff, especially for students with IEPs and medical needs?
Well, I think there's a couple of things there. First of all, we need to take a look at the budget and find the resources necessary to fund those positions, really understanding the need and the way that it can be met that makes it an efficient use of the resources, as Scott was just talking about. And then, employ creative solutions to go out and recruit the practitioners who are in a lot of demand for this right now effectively. May have to go beyond typical hiring I'll say processes to get more creative there to bring these people on board. So that's how I would approach it, at least initially.
Thank you. Candidate Moon.
I mean, I think definitely recruitment of these teachers is definitely, teachers across the board, substitute teachers, it's all kind of a challenge right now. I know the district just put out like an amazing video trying to recruit new people and, indicating how amazing it was to work for it is to work at District 34. So I think it's, part of it is just having creative ways to recruit these people. Maybe incentives, not necessarily monetary, but just, that just having it be such a great place to work. Obviously the budget has to be there, but it needs to be a priority. These kids with the IEPs need the support, so it needs to be a priority. They need to get that support. So thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Nelson.
The district just approved a new contract with the Glenview Professional Association, and I hope that adds to more people coming to our district to work here. It's structured great, and we have a great support staff already, and it's great for everyone to come and join our district. We all know it's hard to hire teachers and support staff right now. The state of Illinois is trying to make it easier on us through legislation, and we're hoping to exploit those as we go forward. As candidate Kamilewicz said, we always have to do this with an eye towards the budget, while at the same time providing the best support staff that we can for our students. It's a tough thing to do, but as a board, we're going to do our best to make sure the administration has all the tools that they can as we go forward.
Thank you. Thanks. Candidate Soupos.
To me, helping children that need the most help it's not just another line item, right? That's what the district is for. That's the main focus. The money will have to be found to do this. Helping the ones that are most in need is us living up to our ideals of providing equitable resources to everyone. Okay, so the money, just to exaggerate, even if it's not there, you put it there because you need to have the support staff do their job. Again, we need to support the kids that are most in need. That's one of the focal points of what I want this district to look like. So, thank you.
Thank you. The next question will be given to candidate Moon first. How would you work to ensure that all students, including LGBTQ+ students, feel safe, supported, and represented in the district?
Yes, I think, oh goodness, this is definitely a hot topic. So, I mean, I think, obviously just having gosh, I'm sorry. I should have a better thought process for this. Obviously all children need to be supported, regardless of any LGBTQ, special needs children, people that don't speak English, or English language learners, race, it doesn't matter. They all need to be supported. They all deserve like equal opportunity to learn. So we need to basically just figure out how to get them equal opportunity for learning. So I just think we need to be supportive of all the special needs of all of our community. That's all.
Thank you. Candidate Nelson.
Through our continued use of our social emotional learning program and our multi-tiered systems of support, we need to be able to support all students where they are in the path of life. And that includes LGBTQ+ students. So we need to also promote understanding and acceptance among all students. And I believe the district does that. They are very strong in this situation. They partner with youth services of Glenview and Northbrook. They partner with the Family Service Center, and we have an adult education program that we promote also. So as we move forward, I think all students will continue to get the supports they already get and improve on them.
Thank you. Candidate Soupos.
Last week I got to go to my second graders musical performance at Westbrook. And I have a picture here, and the kids are holding up signs that says, "Keep the fairness, music, peace, love going." That actually melted my heart a little bit. What the district is currently doing, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, is they're teaching these beautiful kids to respect everyone. Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what you sound like. They're teaching these kids to be accepting and respectful of everyone. And that's, I think, the important part here, to show them from such a young age that especially Westbrook is so diverse, to not even look at these differences. These kids are taught to not even see anything because everybody respects everyone else. And that's the kind of messaging that I want to make sure that continues K through 8. Doesn't matter if they're too old to have musical performances. That's going to be a sad day when that happens, but to me personally, but they need to continue this messaging throughout their whole experience through the district. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, candidate Kamilewicz, please.
I'm certainly in agreement with all my fellow candidates. In addition, I think candidate Nelson did a great job laying out what the district already does. And I would agree, I think the district does a very good job at this, always finds ways to improve and will continue to improve. What I would say too then is, from a board perspective, it's important to remain very clear about what's acceptable and what the standards are. And the standard is that no student in this district should feel unsafe. That's simply not acceptable for any reason whatsoever. We are here with young children, trying to give them a great start to life, and anything that compromises that, including feeling unsafe or feeling not valued or having people question their identity, does not serve this district's mission at all, and is simply not acceptable.
Thank you. The next question will be offered to candidate Nelson first, and it regards safe gun storage. In Illinois, it is unlawful to leave firearms unlocked and accessible in households with minors under 14 years of age. What is your opinion on safe gun storage, and how do you propose to encourage responsible gun storage practices among members of the school community?
As a school board member, we can talk about that in public at our open school board meetings. We always encourage people to follow the laws as they're written. We've done that as a school board, and that's something that we promote. We can do that in parent education meetings, and we can do that through outreach. It is imperative that children live in a safe community, and following the laws, including safe gun storage, is something we need to promote. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Soupos.
No, I agree with Scott completely. I mean, gun safety is very important. It's something that, parents need to be made aware of. It's one of those things that all it takes is one time to make a mistake, and it could be devastating. So as part of the district, and we're responsible with education, having outreach programs for the families themselves, the parents, is something that can and should be done to reinforce, not just because it's the law, but because it's common sense too, right? You just don't want these things laying around in access of. We heard about the incidents that have happened when kids get a hold of guns. I mean, it's crazy. Like, they think it's TV or a computer game, but when it's real life, the stuff is scary. So, reinforcing this law, and which is also, again, common sense safety, is really important. And that's something I think we should be paying attention to. And I think the board is already doing that. And it can be done as part of an outreach program or some other kind of communication. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Kamilewicz.
I'll echo kind of my last response, which is, our goal is for every student in the district to feel safe, and that certainly applies to gun safety as well. And I'll echo Candidate Nelson. We encourage people to follow the laws, and there's a lot we can do there. I grew up in a rural state, the state of Maine. Most of my classmates hunted with usually their dads. My sister-in-law is a champion target shooter and a hunter. I've been around guns a lot, and throughout my whole time when I was growing up, all those kids who went out with their dads, or in a few cases moms, they understood gun safety really well because it was really taught. So from my perspective, it's common sense, and the laws are written to be commonsensical, and anything we can do to reinforce that is something that I'm sure we can do and support, with the partnership of course, local law enforcement and the other agencies that take a part in that.
Thank you. Candidate Moon.
Yes, thank you. I think the district does a lot of programming for, mental health and cyberbullying and different things like that. I mean, I think maybe a great programming would be to have the police force come in and maybe just talk about gun safety could be a possibility, or just safety in general, but could also mention gun safety. I mean, I think the majority of gun owners are safe with their guns, and I think they understand that they should be locked up, but I think that it just takes one, and you just never really know. So parents might not just think, well, not my child. So maybe just helping educate all parents on safety in general, which is always important, as well as like gun safety might be something that might be worthwhile, so that it never gets brought into the schools. Thank you.
Thank you. This next question has to do with curriculum content and will be directed first at candidate Soupos. This is a multi-part question, so I'm happy to repeat it if you need me to. First, what do you believe should be the relative roles of professional educators, the Board of Education, and parents in determining curriculum content? And as a board member, would you seek to ban or censor any particular books or discussions? And then finally, you can include in that, are there any particular policies, procedures, or curriculum areas of particular interest to you? And if so, can you share them and how would you address these as a board member? So that's a multi-part question. Do your best.
That's a good one, but all the parts are related, so it's good. First of all, let me answer the most important part of the question. I do not believe that any book should ever be banned. Okay, they've tried that in other countries in the past, and it never works out well. The information should all be available in the library. The students should be made aware of it. Now, if they want to go take the book out of the library, if it aligns or doesn't align with their own views, that's going to be their choice, right? It's about choice. You never want to limit the choices of what's available for people to study. That is not what America is all about. That's not why I moved here. Okay. Now, in terms of who has role in what, like I said before, the board sets the direction. The board, I don't think, is going to be responsible for picking out individual books, because that's what the administration is for. The board is going to provide the direction, the administration is going to carry it out, and their trained professionals are going to be the ones who are going to select the books that align with the philosophy and the direction that the board sets. Now, how that is with my first part of the statement is basically all books should be allowed. The last piece, and I only have a few seconds left, is I'm very much interested in STEM. So anything with science, technology, engineering, and math is something I would wholeheartedly support to have more of. So I try to squeeze it all in there. So thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Kamilewicz.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Like I said in the previous, answer, the one of the roles of the board member is to listen to all the stakeholders and ensure that voices are being heard when we're making decisions like this. Of course, the professional staff are the experts in curriculum, and we look for them to drive the proposals and put the thought into that. And as a board member, you then pressure test that through questioning and ensure that it fits the needs of all the stakeholders. I think a lot of that is pretty prosaic. It's we want the kids to learn certain things so that they're prepared for high school and further on in life. And does the curriculum achieve that? It's nuts and bolts kind of stuff, and that's really the majority of that work there. If there's a particular area that I'm interested, I do have a postgraduate degree in history, and I do feel that effective teaching of the humanities is really important for preparing kids for the future, and that's something that I always look to. I do have that postgraduate degree in history, but I work for a pharmaceutical company in research and development now, so it can take you many different ways. So that's one that will probably always pique my interest when we have those discussions.
Thank you. Candidate Moon.
Like the gentleman before me, I also agree that there really should be no book bans. Of course, if there is a parent or a group of parents that has a concern about a particular book that their children are reading, in the classroom setting, we would obviously listen, could maybe discuss it with the teacher, but ultimately I think that all books should be available. Definitely curriculum is something that is going to be handled by the teachers, the administrators. We just are oversight in that process. As far as books that I would really like to see, definitely STEM, GEF that I'm chair of currently brought the STEM program to both the actually K through 5 as well as the middle schools now. So there's a curriculum for STEM programming in all those schools, and definitely hope to continue to have books that support that. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Nelson.
Yeah, I don't think any books should be banned. I think books should be age appropriate for all students, and the parents should also be able to tell their students, what they want them to explore and read. And they already have that opportunity. I see curriculum as something that is developed as a partnership between the administration, staff, and teachers. They are the ones that are trained and understand that it is the board's job to make sure they're following our policies about curriculum. And as long as the curriculum is expanding the knowledge of our students to make them more successful, that is where we want to be. I want well-rounded students with opportunities to explore any interests that they want to have, because this is the growth of our community as we move forward. And I want them to move back to Glenview and make this a better place. I also want to highlight, like candidate Julie Moon, about the GEF. There are our research and development partners in the district. So many curriculum enhancements that we've added have come from grants that have started with the district. Started with GEF. They're a terrific partner, and I encourage all teachers to please apply for grants with the GEF, especially now. They've done a great job of fundraising. The community supports this. It is something that has informed the district for many years, and I love being partners with them, and that's where I fall in that type.
Thank you, Scott, for that little plug.
Thank you. We candidates, we have reached the last question of today's candidate forum, and this will be directed first to candidate Kamilewicz. The question is, do you think it's important to have a commitment to diversity? And how would you describe a commitment to diversity? Have you demonstrated that commitment, and how would you see yourself demonstrating it here?
I think we're a diverse culture, and we're a diverse community. So of course, it's commonsensical that we would have a commitment to diversity. A commitment to diversity to me looks like a respect for everyone in whatever diversity they're bringing to the table, a willingness to learn about diversity, and a respectful inquisitiveness about that. I have definitely had a commitment to diversity myself in my personal life and in my working life as well. I believe strongly that a lot of the success that I've had in my career has been through encouraging diversity of thought, diversity of perspectives, diversity of backgrounds. The fact of the matter is, if we're trying to accomplish something, I'm talking from a work perspective right now, we're much better off bringing a wide variety of ideas to the table based on people's diverse experiences and diverse upbringing than we are trying to follow sort of the same standard way. And that's something that has been very powerful to me.
Thank you. Candidate Moon.
Yes, going back to my GEF work, we have actually done a lot of programming that's we've funded grants that have allowed diversity in the schools. We just did an equity, diversity, inclusion grant that was specifically for the teachers to be able to have the opportunity to kind of learn how to teach and connect better with students in our amazingly diverse community. It's being pushed out. That was like a small subset pilot program. Now it's being presented to all the teachers in the district, and basically it will allow for the teachers to be able to individually, each student be able to give them the best support for depending upon if they're English language learners, special needs. So it basically is just, supporting each individual student to the best of their, to be able to support them the best so they can get the optimal education. So I'm proud of our work on GEF that we've done in doing some different diversity grants.
Thank
and
you.
I spoke too long. Thank you.
Candidate Nelson.
Can I ask you to read the question one more time?
Of course. Do you think it's important to have a commitment to diversity? And how would you describe a commitment to diversity? How have you demonstrated that commitment, and how would you see yourself demonstrating it here?
So I believe equity, diversity, and inclusiveness is not a destination. I believe it's a pathway that we need to work on as we go forward. It is not something that we can get to tomorrow or today. It's something we got to work to as a group with all of the stakeholders in the community. It speaks to the need of buy-in from all stakeholders, and it's our job as a board to show the community how equity, diversity, and inclusiveness helps students become the best students they can be. And I have a commitment to this. I don't have a time frame, but I have a commitment to continue the work that's already been done and to improve on it as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Soupos.
Thank you, Lynette. Again, I'm going to try to answer this in two ways. All you have to do is go to one of the schools, go to Westbrook, and you'll see it's a very diverse school. The performance I described to you from last week, they had a little red dragon there, which is awesome because they're celebrating cultures. When it comes to the kids, I think it's really important to teach them and to celebrate the different cultures that makes up the student population, so kids can get exposed to all kinds of backgrounds and see how awesome they are. When it comes to the administration itself, I think like Scott said, it's not something that can happen overnight, but you really want the people who work there to be representative of what their actual community looks like, right? So make a commitment to hire the best people and the people that are, again, make up the community, which is a very diverse community. And between showing to the students how great these cultures are that make up the schools and hiring people from those cultures, that effort combined will create people that don't even see that anymore as a distinction. I mean, we're all here, we're all citizens of Glenview, we're all very much different. Let's celebrate our differences. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. We've reached the end of the forum portion. You will each now have 90 seconds to give a closing statement. And we will do that in reverse order of the opening statement. So we'll begin with candidate Soupos.
Okay, I feel like I was just talking. I wanted to thank you for having me here. This was very exciting. I'm honored to be running for this position. Like I said in my opening statement, this is personally important to me. I want to make sure that kids, all kids, my kids, get the tools that they need to succeed in life. If they're going to go into high school in a strong position, I want them to learn about integrity. I want them to learn about accountability. I want them to learn about, how fortunate they are to be part of this school district and be thankful because, most kids around the world don't have the opportunities that these kids have. And as a board member, I want to reinforce those core values, those behaviors that I just described, make sure that we have the financial responsibility to the taxpayers, make sure their money is being spent in a way that benefits our kids, which in turn will benefit our community. So again, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Candidate Nelson.
Hi, I want to say, first off, I'm proud to be standing here and thank you for having us with these, the other candidates that are sitting in this room today. We are transparent and available, and we have issued statements to numerous press organizations. We are currently endorsed by the D34 caucus and the Daily Herald. I'm very proud of this community for supporting public education by passing the $119 million referendum to update our aging infrastructure and provide for new construction to add full-day kindergarten. During my time as a board member, the district has issued debt at historically low rates, managed a large-scale multi-building construction project during supply chain disruptions, and had to navigate a global pandemic that disrupted all facets of our lives. This year, the Glenview School District 34 board is one of 33 school boards in the state of Illinois to earn the Illinois Association of School Boards 2022 School Board Governance Recognition. This is the first time the district's being recognized. I feel my work is not complete, and I would like to support the I would like to support the district and continue to serve the community. Thank you for considering me for District 34 School Board, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you. Candidate Moon.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to say thank you so much for allowing us to come and speak today as well. Look forward to continuing to have open communication with the community, and I'm really excited and honored to be able to hopefully represent the community and our kids on the school board. Just a little bit more about, during the past 5 years, I've been on the executive board at GEF, and I've really had a lot of interactions with the district and administrators and teachers. And I really just feel like the school district is excellent. And, I've learned a lot, and I think that will ultimately help me transition onto the school board, although I have some to learn, obviously, and I look forward to learning with these three wonderful gentlemen who are running on the slate with me. But I, welcome the opportunity to be able to continue my support of the schools and most importantly, our children. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, candidate Kamilewicz.
First of all, thank you very much. I'll echo the other candidates for the invitation to this forum. I've had a lot of fun answering the questions, and it's great to be here with my fellow candidates, Julie, Vasilios, and Scott. I mentioned early on that my wife and I have lived in Glenview since 2004, and then except for a 3-year period where we were in another state for reasons unconnected to the district or the community. There were a number of reasons we came back to Illinois and to Glenview, but District 34 was one of the bigger reasons. It is a great, great school district, and I have been happy and proud to support it through my work on the various committees, including the Glenview Education Foundation that I mentioned in my opening statement. And I just hope that the voters are willing to allow me to continue that in a new phase with being elected to the Board of Education. And if so, I'm looking forward to working with everyone who will be on the board as returning members, as well as these great candidates here with me. So thanks again for the opportunity. It has been a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you so much, candidates. Thank you for participating today. The League really believes that the community is best served when they're well informed of the candidates that will be running in their elections. So we appreciate your participation, and we applaud your willingness to serve your community.